The worst part of my commute wasn't the empty train car or the flickering lights. It was the moment I realized the same man had been riding with me every morning, even on days I knew I'd taken a different route. My name is Alex M., and in the spring of 2023, I worked an early shift at a print shop in Queens, New York. I had to be there by 6, which meant my commute started around 4:45 a.m. Same routine every weekday. Walk 3 blocks, catch the E train, transfer at Jackson Heights, zone out until my stop. Nothing special about it. The city was half asleep at that hour. Bodega gates rattling open, a bus hissing past, the smell of burnt coffee drifting from a 24-hour Dunkin'. That's why the first odd thing barely registered. On a Monday morning, I noticed a man sitting at the far end of the subway car, mid-30s maybe. Dark hoodie, baseball cap pulled low. He was staring at the train map above the door like he was trying to memorize it. What stuck with me wasn't his face. It was that he never moved. No phone, no shifting in his seat. Didn't even blink when the doors slammed shut. I chalked it up to exhaustion. Everyone looked strange before sunrise. The next day he was there again. Same car, same seat, same posture. I remember thinking it was kind of funny. New York's full of routines, same strangers, same faces. By Thursday, it stopped feeling funny. That morning, the train was delayed. Lights flickered, the speaker crackled with static announcements no one could understand. I checked my phone, no signal underground. That's when I noticed the man wasn't looking at the map anymore. He was looking at me, not glaring, not smiling, just watching. I shifted in my seat, pretended to scroll. When I glanced back up, he was staring at the door again, like nothing happened. When my stop came, I stood up fast and got off. As the doors closed, I caught one last look at him. He hadn't turned his head, but his eyes were still on me. The next week, I tried changing things up. Different subway car, different entrance. One day I even took the bus instead. Didn't matter. He was always there. Bus stop, train platform. Once, standing across the street from the coffee cart where I grabbed a 7-Eleven coffee knockoff because the Dunkin' line was too long. Always alone, always still, never speaking. I started telling myself it was coincidence. Big city, small patterns. My brain was connecting dots that weren't there. Until the morning he sat next to me. The train was unusually empty. Just me, him, and one other guy asleep near the doors. The man took the seat beside mine without a sound. I could smell stale laundry detergent and metal, hear his breathing. Slow, controlled. He leaned in just enough that I felt the warmth of his shoulder, and without looking at me, he whispered, "You don't have to keep changing routes." My heart started pounding. I stood up and moved cars at the next stop. I didn't look back. That day, I called out sick. The final incident happened on a rainy Tuesday. I was running late, missed my usual train. Everything was off. The platform was empty when I arrived, just dripping water and flickering fluorescent lights. I heard footsteps behind me, slow, measured. I didn't turn around. Then a voice, right behind my ear, said, "You usually stand closer to the edge." I spun around. No one was there. But on the bench across the platform was a folded piece of paper. I didn't want to touch it. I really didn't. But I did. Inside were 3 words written neatly in black ink. Tomorrow. Same time. I never went back. I quit that job the next morning. Took a night shift somewhere else. Different borough, different hours, different commute. Months passed. I started to relax until last week. I was driving home late, stopped at a red light in Astoria. Rain tapping on the windshield. Radio low. I glanced at the sidewalk and there he was, standing perfectly still, staring at my car. He raised his hand, not to wave, just to point at his wrist, like he was reminding me I was late. My name is Daniel R., and this happened during my daily commute in late 2022 when I was living in Aurora, Illinois, just outside Chicago. I worked IT support downtown. Boring job, early hours, nothing dramatic. I caught the Route 530 bus every weekday at 5:38 a.m. I know that because I checked the time every morning like a ritual. Coffee in one hand, phone in the other. Same cracked sidewalk, same streetlight buzzing overhead. Most mornings were quiet, a few regulars, headphones in, eyes down. That's why the first strange thing didn't feel like a big deal. One morning, I noticed the bus driver didn't look at me when I boarded. Not unusual. But when I tapped my card, the scanner beeped twice, red, then green. The driver said, "You already paid." I laughed and told him it was my first stop of the day. He frowned and said, "You were just on 5 minutes ago." I assumed he was tired. I took a seat anyway. That's when I noticed my usual spot, the back right seat, was already warm. Over the next week, small things kept happening. My phone battery drained faster on the bus than anywhere else. My music would stop randomly between the same two stops. Once, the overhead lights flickered and the entire bus went silent. No engine, no radio, just breathing. It lasted maybe 3 seconds. Everyone acted like nothing happened. I told myself commuting does weird things to your brain. Repetition, fatigue, early mornings. Then I found the notebook. It was tucked into the seat pocket in front of me. Old spiral notebook, cover bent, no name. I flipped it open, expecting trash. Instead, I saw handwriting, dates, times, bus numbers, all matching my commute. Then notes. Blue jacket today, coffee spill on left shoe, checks phone exactly 4 times before stop. My chest tightened, because that was me. I slammed the notebook shut and left it on the seat. When I got off downtown, my hands were shaking. The next morning, it was back, in my seat with a new line added. Notice the notebook. I stopped sitting in the back after that. Took seats near the front, changed cars on the train portion. I even tried driving once. Didn't matter. Things followed me. One morning, my phone buzzed with a calendar reminder I never made. Sit in back today. I deleted it. Another day, the bus was empty except for me and one man standing near the rear exit. He never sat down, just held the pole, facing away. At my stop, he spoke without turning around. "You missed a page." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every commute in my head. The next morning, against every instinct, I went back to the rear seat. The notebook was there, open. Inside were photos, printed photos, grainy, taken from behind, from across the street, from inside the bus, photos of me boarding, sitting, looking out the window. The last photo made my stomach drop. It showed me asleep in my apartment. Under it was a caption, "Tomorrow will be clearer." I didn't go to work the next day, or the next. I reported it to the police. They took notes, asked questions, checked cameras. They said the bus footage showed me riding alone most mornings. No notebook, no second passenger, no man at the back. Eventually, they stopped calling. My name is Eric M. This happened in spring of 2023 when I was commuting every morning from Yonkers, New York, down to my job in Midtown Manhattan. Nothing special about my routine. I left my apartment at 6:10 a.m. sharp, grabbed a burnt coffee from the bodega downstairs, got on the Sawmill Parkway before the sun fully came up. Same radio station, same cracked dashboard, same traffic choke point near the old overpass. That's why the first thing I noticed felt stupid. There was a dark gray sedan behind me one morning. Old model, maybe a Toyota. Nothing remarkable. It followed me all the way to the Parkway exit. The next day, it was there again. Same headlights, one slightly dimmer than the other. Same dent on the front bumper. I told myself it was a coincidence. Same route, same time. Lots of commuters. By day 4, I started checking my mirrors more often. The sedan never got closer, never passed me, never fell back. Always 3 car lengths behind. I tested it once, took a wrong exit on purpose. Heart pounding like I was being ridiculous. The sedan followed. When I pulled into a gas station and parked, it kept driving. That actually made me feel better. Until the next morning. The sedan was behind me again. This time I changed lanes suddenly. It did too. Perfectly, smooth, like it expected it. I laughed out loud alone in my car, trying to break the tension. That's when my radio cut out. Static. Then silence. Then, very faintly, I heard what sounded like breathing. I smacked the dashboard. The radio came back on. I didn't mention it to anyone. How would I even explain that? A week later, I noticed something new. Every time I slowed down, the sedan's headlights dimmed, like the driver was tapping the brakes at the exact same moment. I started leaving at different times, 6:03, even 5:50 once, didn't matter. Somehow, it was always there. One morning, track came to a dead stop near the bridge, red brake lights everywhere. The sedan stopped behind me. For the first time, it pulled closer, close enough that I couldn't see the hood anymore. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. The driver's side window of the sedan slowly rolled down. I waited for someone to yell or wave or ask for directions. Nothing happened. The window stayed open. No arm, no face, just darkness. Traffic started moving again. The window rolled back up. The sedan dropped back to its usual distance. I was sweating by the time I reached my office parking garage. I sat in my car for a full minute before getting out. That's when I saw the note. It was tucked under my windshield wiper. Plain white paper, one sentence printed, not handwritten. You missed your exit today. My exit was still 2 miles away when traffic stopped. The next morning, I took the train instead. Stood on the platform at Yonkers Station, surrounded by people, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. The train arrived late. When it finally pulled in, I stepped inside and froze. Through the window, parked across the street, was the gray sedan. Engine running, headlights on. I sat down, shaking. The train doors closed. As we pulled away, I looked back. The headlights flashed once,